All right, let's get into our next discussion now. Within a space of about 16 hours, on January the 2nd and January the 3rd, Nigeria's electricity grid collapsed twice, leaving many parts of the country in total darkness.
Indeed. The Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing confirmed the collapse of the power transmission grid last Tuesday. But this development, according to authorities, was caused by a fire incident on the Escravos-Lagos pipeline system of the Nigerian Gas Processing and Transportation Company Limited.
The incident led to a shutdown of the pipeline that supplies gas to 6 thermal power plants. Last year, Nigeria suffered more than 10 electricity grid collapses.
Well, with us in the studio is a labor activist, Abadam Amechi. Good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. You're welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, where should we even start from, really? Is it about the collapses that Nigerians of the power grids Nigerians experienced last week, or that they are even dilapidated to begin with?
Yeah, the problem is so enormous that sometimes you don't even know where to start from. Of course, we've been talking about this and we'll continue to talk about it.
Again and again.
Yeah. It's really so enormous. The one of last week was caused by fire somewhere at Okada, the Escravos-Lagos pipeline. So, but I think the problem of the electricity industry is more than that. Because apart from the fire incidents, there were also cases of maybe vandalism or restiveness from the Niger Delta. But if you take all that out, you find out that the whole system itself, since after the unbundling, if you come to the distribution section, which to me is where we should focus on right now, at that level, I've not really seen any value addition at all. And if you go back to 2013, when it all started, the whole idea was to create a system that will ensure energy accountability. And for you to be able to do that, you must make sure that right from the supply of gas, at a point where gas is being supplied to the generating stations, and then to the transmission stations and to the distribution station and to the consumers, at every interface, the process must be metered. So the people who supply gases, the companies that supply gas to the generating company, they don't supply it based on estimation. And then the people who generate, the generating companies also, when they generate, they should be able to gauge what they are generating before selling. They don't do it by estimation. If you also look at the transmission also, if you are giving to transmission company of Nigeria, okay, move this for us, they will also know the quantity they are moving, the amount of electricity they are moving. They don't do it by estimation. It is only at the point of distribution that we talk of estimation. So, and the issue of, it's expected that the distribution company should be able to meter the people, the consumers, because it creates credibility. And it also give opportunity for effective energy audit. So for me, the major problem, the bulk of the problem is at the point of distribution. The people there, they have not actually brought any value. And if you bring in, when you talk of privatization, bringing in private business people into business, they talk about profit. And profit can only be made through value creation. Of course, if you are here and you are doing this business and you are not creating value, you don't expect to make profit. And so that profit that they want to make, they can only make it when they create value. And so, and that value also, there must be some form of credibility, trust in the whole system for you to be able to make. So for me, that's where the major problem is for now.
All right, there is still one area that analysts have said that unless something is done, that we're going to keep having issues. Now, there was a gas supply there was gas supply issues and the issue of fire incidents somewhere, and almost every part of this country was thrown into darkness. Now, it boils down to the issue of the national grid system.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said we should decentralize it, where maybe the Northeast has its own power supply issues and network. The Northwest has its own North Central, Southeast, Southwest, South, as the case may be. So that when something happens, you can locate it within, you can box it within that region. And have it solved, where you don't throw someone in Niger State into darkness because something happened in River State.
Perfect, that's very correct. I think we've said something like that before also. If you even look at how vast this nation is, and then how you think of what it would take to always have the whole energy you generate in one single grid, and then before you start giving to all the states, that's for me is, does not look as if we really understand what all the things that are involved. I think the idea of having it decentralized is a very good one. I think the earlier we do that, the better for us. Because if you look at it, you can imagine, because only one pipeline had problem, and then the whole nation goes into darkness. It doesn't really make sense, you know. So I think it should be decentralized, and we have to do it fast.
Okay, the option looked at, or again, that maybe states to generate, like he said, decentralize it, and even give state governments or companies owned privately in these states to have control over their power generation, putting in mind the statement by Governor of Lagos State, Akim Muyambode, promising that this year, 2018, the state could be supplying about 24/7 power generation to the people.
Yeah, if you really, technically, if you look at it, most of the states in the Niger Delta, if you take them out of the grid, they can generate electricity. There are some companies like Shell, Ajip, and Co. You know, they can, because one, gas is available, readily, it can be easily accessed in the area there. So they can generate electricity and then give to their people there. And some place like Lagos also, I know Lagos will have the capacity to also generate electricity for the people that are resident in Lagos. And if you also go up north, of course, there are several energy sources also that can be harnessed to generate electricity and then give to. So if it is done in such a way, because I think if we really need to privatize this thing, we really need to go the whole hog. You don't just do it halfway and then just leave it. You try to, you know, create a kind of environment and allow people to express themselves economically. I mean, let them bring in their money and see what they can do. You know, people will bring in fresh ideas, several ideas, and then see what they can do. I believe that even, I read something somewhere and said that, I think in US or something, that in a farm settlement or like a village, somebody can just take up the responsibility and say, let me generate a city and sell to these people. And that can also be done here. So if you can do that for a village, why can't it be done in a state? So I think it's...
Well, the alternative power sources you talked about, for instance, in Adamawa State and Borno State and Yobe State, solar energy can be generated perfectly there. And then Taraba State and some others, even in Plateau State, the issue of wind energy and all of that. Now, we've been having issues of system collapse. This is not the first time. This year is not the first or second or third. From what you see, is government really doing anything to ensure that they put this system collapse to an end or bring it to an end?
I do not think that they are doing anything, even though they try to make us believe that they are doing something. Because the issue of system collapse, you know, we said presently the system has a capacity of 7,000 megawatts. And I think it was because the thing dropped below 3,000. If it goes below 3,000, definitely there will be a collapse. And for over the years, the huge infrastructural gap has really created a problem. And so whatever government is doing is like as if they are nibbling at the whole system, but it's not. They may be making effort, but I think the effort they are making is not enough for us to notice that something is happening. Okay,
but apart from the TCN, the transmission side of power generation that the government is in charge of, is the government even responsible for any operation, both at the generation and distribution levels, which of course are in private hands?
I wouldn't say, I would not say that government is not responsible, rather they are, because the whole system, the whole thing, there has not been sincerity ab initio. If you also remember that some of these plants were sold at a cost almost 20 or 25 times below their actual value. And I think it was probably done to also favor friends and then associates, you understand? And so you find out that even in it, some of the people that are in government also have sticks. So in a way, government, and then don't also forget that this is a service that will help the economy to grow. So government cannot afford to say no because we have sold out the generating station and then we are no longer in charge of them. We are not going to. Because if you also look at one of in the distribution section, one of the challenges the people are having now, and they keep shouting, is that the tariff is not cost reflective. And then government is saying, okay, if you are going to, for instance, say, okay, let us charge a tariff of 70 naira per kilowatt hour in an economy like this, where minimum wage is about 18,000. How many people will pay? How many people can afford to pay? So you find out also that, in a way, government is doing something at that area, but now allowing the people to charge cost-reflective tariff. So government also provide assistance in all areas. For instance, if you say that cost of generation is high, you can reduce cost of gas to also reduce cost of generation. So government can also assist them also, even at distribution station, to also source for fund so that people can be properly metered. So definitely, if you look at the whole chain, government cannot say, no, we will not assist. They will still have to assist because it's a critical sector. And without it, we can't move forward economically.
Now, recently, before the system collapse, the PATM was generating about 7,000 megawatts from what we heard, and distributing about 5,155 megawatts. Now, with the power infrastructure we have, even if efforts are made to generate more, let's say move it to 10,000, will the system be able to withstand the capacity of that megawatts being sent out with the infrastructure we have right now?
Mike, it cannot. The truth is that it cannot, and that's why they are taking their time. Even if you send out, if you have a transmission capacity that can wheel up to 8,000 or even 9,000, what will happen at the point of distribution? That point is still very weak. It's still very weak, so they cannot.
That's why about 1,000 megawatts is believed to be wasted daily.
Yes. So the level of wastage, leakage is here and there, because some of the systems are so obsolete. And they are not, in fact, some of the things we use, they are not even using them in Western world. Some of the equipments we are using here. So
okay, so what should be the way forward now? Because we keep saying this, we keep talking about it, and a lot of money, trillions of naira, have been spent in that sector with nothing to show for it. Nigeria generating about just well over 5,000 megawatts as a nation really is disheartening. So what should be the focus now for the Minister, Babatunde Fashola, this year?
Yeah, you have to look at the whole chain, starting from gas supply. First of all, you have to make sure that we have pipelines that are safe and that deliver gases, to the thermal stations. And then government can as well help to reduce the cost of gases so that you can reduce cost of generation. That's one. Number two is that when you also come to the point of generation, some of the stations that have been built without gases, without consideration for gas supply, should also be, that issue should be addressed to make sure that they have access to gases and all that, and make sure that all the plants are working. If all the plants are working, I think we should be talking of close to 8,000 or moving up to 9,000 megawatts. But that's, again, out of it. Then let me go straight to the point of distribution, because for me, that's where we still have serious problem. The people are saying now that they can't access loan from finance houses. Now, do you know that the meter is not just a measuring instrument? It's also an instrument of information. Because the information, the data you get from it can be used for analysis, where you can get business intelligence and all that. So if you submit proposal for money, for loan, where do you get the information? What information do you present to people that are going to give you money? So we have serious problem there, and the government must assist them. Also because I know there was even a time when the Regulatory Commission said that, gave them opportunity, also, okay, allow consumers to pay for these things, so that you give them a rebate, so that over time, by way of the electricity supply, that cost can be defrayed. But they abuse it also, because some of the money that we are paid by consumers, we are channeled into some other ventures, and that didn't work, so they had to stop it. So that's where we have problem. And that problem, if you don't sort out that point, we are going to have problem along the line.
All right, labor activist Abadom Amechi, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Right. Shortly, we'll be going to North Korea.
North and South, in between.
Okay. We're going in between North and South Korea. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.